Hello everyone. I'm drinking cold brew coffee in the Sunday afternoon. This is like a most affordable hi-fi mini monitor speakers offered by Bowers and Wilkins. This is a 607. So probably some of my regular viewers may remember I wasn't a big fan of a previous generation 600 series. I think I made a review of a 685S2 a few years back. I didn't like it at all with any of my amplifiers. Come to this generation, it released last year. This is the review sample sent to me by Brendan. So thank you for sending me this review sample. This one is retailed for around like $599.99, I believed, and this only comes with this kind of matte black and white color, and it has the magnetic grill that they offer. So this is a small grill, just a magnetic one. This is nothing to do with the manufacturer, no sponsorship. Review sample by one of my viewers. I've been listening to the speakers for more than a week now. The cabinet is very solid. This is the smallest one that you can get in this price range. But don't let the size fool you. Very high quality build, especially these drivers. This one have this brand new tweeter from compared to last generation, decoupled double dome aluminum tweeter, and it has the same mesh and same layout design as the 700 series, and very same Continental 5-inch bass drivers. And back of the speakers, it has a bass tuning port and by-wire terminals. It looks very good quality. This port is about like 1.5 inch and all plastic, very hard plastic all the way in. This area is too narrow and the side is too not deep enough, so I couldn't get my endoscope camera all the way inside the speakers. I think I stuck somewhere in this area that I cannot go farther down. Oh, there is like a divider right behind the bass driver, but I cannot see clearly because I couldn't get in between. This is too narrow in this area. The bass driver basket and magnet is pretty big in this small cabinet, so I don't have enough room to go down below to see the crossovers and stuff. So, but I will show you what I saw right down here. So I have no complaint whatsoever on build quality overall. The price and performance and everything, it's just about right in this price range. Let me get to the sound quality. This is well broken in speakers. Thank you, Brandon, for sending me these speakers for review. And I will share my thoughts, the overall sound quality and tone accuracy. And so compared to 707S2, only different is cabinet and the tweeter and maybe some crossover, but this binding post, everything, it looks the same to me. Overall sound is smooth and lush with a lot of details and transparency. One of the things that most surprised me was the bass performance of this little 5-inch driver and this little cabinet. This cabinet is smaller than a PSP P5. I would like to start with the bass performance of this 607 speakers. For the cabinet size and driver size, bass performance is really good. What I mean by that is, in a small room like mine, only 1311 by 9, it sounds so good and bass is decently deep. Yeah, the bass go deeper than PSP P5 and is tighter, and sound signature is very unified and you don't hear the individual driver. It's come out of a one source component. So in audiophile terms, the $600 is budget, but a lot of people, $600 for a pair of a mini monitor speaker is super expensive. So it depends on how you take it. To me, this is reasonable price speakers. Bass performance is almost as good as the KEF LS50 speakers that I have, and tone accuracy is really good. Kick drums and snare drum everything. I mean, like reproducing every music note with accuracy and detail. That's how good this little speaker is. This one can really differentiate the sound quality of the your media. There is like a little bit warmish mid-range that I really enjoy of these little speakers. So bass performance, mid-range, everything's great. I have nothing to complain based on my listening section of many albums that I went through. So I like everything about these little speakers. And then one thing that I want to share is the placement is so easy. You can place it's not picky. They sound pretty decent. If you can optimize it, that will give you better results. But you can throw it on a bookshelf, it will sound pretty decent. So this is one of the best sounding mini monitor speaker that I have ever experienced in under $1,000 price range. Let's say if you listen your music in 2-channel with the integrated amplifier with the good power supply, these guys will sing. But if you're using average receiver, they're not gonna be able to bring out the best out of these little speakers because the sensitivity of this little speaker is very low. It's only 84 dB, so it's not great for average AV receivers to handle or bring out the full potential of this mini monitor speakers. But if you have a amplifier with very strong power supply, regardless of a wattage, that wattage doesn't matter. As long as you have a good power supply, these guys can sing. I really like the way they improved the sound from a previous generation of 600 series speakers, which I'm not a big fan of. But this one totally changed my mind. And then it comes to mind that this guy can give LS50 run for its money. Honestly, I don't have experience with the 606, but based on my experience with this 607, if you are thinking about getting a KEF LS50 speakers, you should try this one because you will save a lot of money and you get a comparable sound quality. This kind of little speaker have a lot of limitation because if you get a certain loudness, the bass driver will bottoms out. It's not that this bass driver can handle the bass. It's mostly due to the size of the cabinet. Usually my normal music listening is like 60 to 75 dB. If I go loud, probably the loudest for my music listening, not auditioning, is about like 80, 85 the most. This guy has no problem in that kind of loudness level, and low volume level listening is really good. It's full and rich sound signature. I do listen to a lot of different kind of music, including heavy metal, country song, folk song, 70s, 80s, 90s, everything. This little guy never failed to satisfy me. And it gets me wonder, should I replace my LS50 with this one and save some money? So that's until I try them at the loud level. So I put in Metallica Black Album. I cranked them up around like 11 o'clock position on the volume control knob. So it gets me around like 90 to 95 dB loudness on this little speaker. And the problem happened. What happened was hi-hat notes of the music, hi-hat strikes and rolling notes on that instrument gets me really annoyed because it's so expressive and it comes at you, so it gets really forward. Amazing thing is, so only that high frequency, that hi-hat notes and cymbal strikes that bother me, every note below that stay composed and stay musical, even with the loudness and even with the size of the cabinet and size of the bass driver, which is amazing in my opinion because not a lot of speakers can do that. I can crank it up to 90, 95 dB If the music acoustic or like mid heavy music, this one don't have any problem. Heavy metal or hard rock music, if I crank it to that level, it gets me really annoyed because of the hi-hats notes that really come and bite my ears. So that's the only downside for me. It has a great stereo image, very musical sounding speakers in my system. It's smooth, lush, a little bit of warmish tint in the mids and upper mid-range area that I really enjoy listening. I don't think you can get better than this on this price range in tone accuracy on a normal music listening. And the females and male vocals are great. Probably one of the best in reproducing vocals. And mid-range is really good. Upper bass is really good. Based on all my listening and auditioning experience, I have nothing to complain. Everything is just about right. And except for that loud level listening, I didn't really enjoy the high frequencies. Other than that, this little speaker is probably the best money you can buy in this price range. I will always remember this little speakers because it made really well with my Denon integrated amp, and very smooth and lush and very musical with warmish tone. And low level music listening is probably the one of the best. Low level meaning I'm talking about like 45 to 55 dB loudness level. Average music listening like up to like 85 dB. This sounds great. If you do listen your music in that range, you shouldn't have any problem with the brightness or any unwanted frequency extreme. Tonal accuracy, affordability, build quality, drivers. I really like this speakers. This is one of the best that I have ever experienced in this price range. Overall package is great. No complaint at all, except for that low sensitivity and high frequency bite that I get at the 90 dB plus loudness. This is like one of the little perfect package that you can have for your small room music listening, and even near field desktop listening, this one would be great. So this speaker is gonna be very short list of my favorite speakers. So this is gonna be one of them. I really enjoy my time with these speakers. It sounds great, very musical, tone is very accurate, and best mid-range that you can get in this price range. High frequency is something left to desire at higher volume level. Otherwise, normal music listening level, this sounds very good and smooth and lush with the warmish tone on the overall sound signature. And very good bass performance out of this little driver and this tiny little cabinet. So my advice is, if you are thinking of getting any mini monitor speakers with 5 or 5¼ inch bass driver, you should try this one first, because this one set the very high standards in that price range and this kind of mini monitor speakers. Standard is very high. Probably other speaker will have hard time catching it because overall package is great. Two downside is low sensitivity of 84 dB, which means a lot of receiver will have a hard time bringing the best out of these little speakers. High frequency brightness, you can fix it with the tone control, but low sensitivity, your only choice is amplifier with good power supply. So that's the best choice that you can do. That's conclude my review, and I enjoy my time with this little speaker. This is one of the most musical speaker that you can get in this price range, with an accurate tone and smooth sound with warmish tint on it. Just keep in mind that my aforementioned downsides. And thank you, Brandon, for sending me these speakers for review. So I will be sending these back next week to him. They are really great speakers for smaller space or smaller living room and stuff. So placement is very easy. Highly recommended speakers. Thank you for watching. Happy listening.